the community chat tonight, we as a council met together after the May election and decided that we wanted to try and dedicate something on the agenda that wasn't just voting on liquor licenses, wasn't just voting on, changing, remodeling apartments and things like that. We wanted to see if we can have something that we could actively talk about that impacts this neighborhood. The first one of which was the nursing home and the closing that occurred a few months ago. Since that time, as we've discussed, a lot of people have been instrumental in getting that open. And we have some representatives from the local elected officials that we discussed earlier, but also from Spalding. So thank you for returning. I anticipate that this meeting will go a little bit nicer than the last. So I don't know if the state rep or senator wanted to begin, or you wanted to wait till they presented.
Let them present.
Okay.
Well, thank you, council members, community members. We heard you loud and clear. Happy New Year, and we hope this comes across as good news. So, based on your strong views and considerations, the desire to save the North End nursing home, and with the urging of your elected officials, most of whom are here tonight. Led in the community by Representative Michaelowitz, along with Senator Bonacori and City Councilor Lamatina, and with the Mayor's office also very heavily involved. And tonight we have Steve and Maria here, but everyone kind of, after a couple of months of the charged and heated kinds of discussions that were going on, I think worked together in a collaborative way to try to see if there was going to be a solution that would be acceptable. And so we decided to delay our plans to file all of our regulatory applications to do the work on the place we bought in Brighton, and to narrow the field of people that we would talk to about buying a facility here in the North End to people that would be committed to running the facility as a nursing home, and people who, if possible, believe that they could go about whatever plans they had for any kind of improvements and renovation in a way that wouldn't require the disruption of the current long-term residents who are at the facility. And so we were able to find such an organization, and an organization that, based on what we know, are good nursing home operators that have a track record now in the state that kind of shows that. So the group, as you know from the press reports that have already come out, that would be operating is called Marquee Health Services. They own another 9 skilled nursing facilities in Massachusetts. They are very eager to begin their work here, to work with the community. They very much believe that they can stage their improvements to the facility in a way that would not require anybody to have to leave the facility. May mean people have to move from one room to another for a temporary period, but not have to leave the actual building. The way this would be structured is, and we haven't signed yet. We're working toward that. We've nearly finalized things, but that we would sell them the property, and then we would they would lease it back to us. We would continue to operate the nursing home as we always have, while they apply through the State Department of Public Health for the change of ownership on the license, which they have to have. And we would simultaneously be filing for the improvements we need to make in Brighton. And we think that somewhere between September of this year and the calendar year end, we would both be in a position where we would have all of our approvals lined up and our improvements along, so that we would then be able to actually pass over the responsibility for the operations to Marquee Health. We know that one of the things that will certainly be on the minds, particularly of the existing residents of the facility, is what's going to be happening with the staff. And the staff will have an option of remaining in the north end under the new owners or moving with us to Brighton. We're going to host job fairs as we finalize things. The new owners will have a chance to meet the staff, meet the residents, meet the community, meet all of you, and we'll have to arrange for them to be coming here to meet with you, and they're very willing to do that whenever the timing is appropriate. And so we will go through a period of a couple of months at least of people kind of evaluating what they want to do relative to staying in the north end or moving to Brighton or somewhere else for that matter. So the staff, as well as we know that a lot of the residents who have originated out of the north end will clearly want to stay here, at least that's what we believe. But people will have the option, if they want, of moving with us to Brighton as well. So people will have choices, which I guess it's a good thing. So we'll go through, everybody will have a chance to learn about new owners. Staff will have a chance to evaluate the pros and cons and make their choices. And so that will, at some point in time prior to the move, we'll kind of have more firm decisions on what everybody's doing staff-wise, resident-wise. They very much want, just from a business standpoint, they want people to be in the facility at the point at which they take responsibility for it. They don't want to come into an empty building. And so for some months prior to the actual passage of the operations, they'll get more and more involved actually in the admissions process. One question I know that could come up was, are they going to take people who are, funded by Medicaid? The answer to that is yes. They're going to be Medicare, Medicaid certified. That license is going with the facility. They are going to plan on 100 beds, not the 140. That's not a big deal because that's pretty much what we've been averaging by way of average daily census. And the reason why they're doing that is so that they can create more communal areas and more therapy space and use more of some of the existing rooms for other purposes, for storage, things like that. So I'll stop there and answer your question, but I also like to recognize Senate President Travellini is here tonight, who helped us a great deal in facilitating this resolution.
Sorry, I guess my question, last time you were here in June, you were really vehement at saying Spalding couldn't make any money. You were a money loser. I'm wondering, do you know anything about Marquee and how they're going to operate it? And are they going to, they have a vastly different business plan than you?
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
You have to know what that is. The concern would be, are they cutting back on services to make their money, to make a profit? That would be the concern that I would have. Is, can you tell us a little about what you know about Marquee?
Well, I'll tell you what I know about us and why we lose money, which will not be the case with Marquee. And again, this is hard for people to understand. For most of what we've done since we've been in the north end, outside of the long-term residents who have remained, we're admitting people who have real high costs of care and don't have enough funding for it. Okay, so some people who don't have any funding at all, or someone who may have that state level funding but be on a drug that costs $1,000 a day. So why do we do that? We do that because the people come out of our hospitals, the Mass General principally, sometimes Spalding, sometimes the Brigham Women's Hospital, and it's the right thing to do. And if we didn't take care of them, they get stuck in the hospital where they don't belong and block a bed for people that need to get into the hospital. So that's why we lost money. Those patients who are underfunded in relation to their need, who are going to be coming out of the Mass General in the future, they're going to come with us to Brighton, or if there are other places they could get into. So Marquee will run like other nursing home operators do. They will, they'll provide services to people who have a funding source. Even, I mean, again, could be Medicaid, but they will provide people that have a funding source, unlike, and have a more reasonable cost of care.
So it's conceivable then that residents from the north end who may not have an adequate funding source can be turned away from Marquee?
Well, a long-term care resident is going to be eligible for Medicaid. And so I don't foresee that there's going to be people, who will be turned away. If they happen to be in a situation where they were in a very, very high-cost treatment program, I don't know. I mean, it's possible that in such situations, any nursing home operator would be challenged. That's not going to be. It's not going to be the rule.
I'll open it up to Alex and then let's see more information.
I had a couple of questions. First of all, if you're going to continue to move those patients out of your hospitals into Brighton, aren't you going to lose money in Brighton?
Yes.
Okay. So the reason for leaving the North End was just to lose money for other issues.
Yes. We're going to continue to lose money.
Now, in terms of having a lot of beds filled when Marquee takes over, is the home currently accepting new long-term care residents?
Yes.
Okay. And changing the number of beds from 140 to 100 sounds like a good idea, but is that going to require modification to the LEA?
We're going to have consultation with the city and the BRA on that point.
Yeah.
Technically, the answer might be yes, but the question would be whether the powers that be want to force a change or just not enforce it.
I believe the LDA is a use. The LDA would be the use.
No, it does specify the number of beds.
It does?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a nit. I mean, I think the main thing is that we wanted the home to continue to take on long-term care residents.
Yeah, I would hope that wouldn't become an
So,
issue.
no, I don't think it will become. I was just curious. Just saying maybe you probably might have to deal with it. Or they might have to.
By the way, congratulations on finding a buyer. Well, that's a big relief to the
Yeah,
neighborhood.
thank you.
So thank you for that.
Now, I move my ads out of the facility
And I remember.
and
Boy, you
relocate
sure
her
did move fast.
elsewhere. I'm wondering if I'd like to move her back, am I allowed to do that?
I think they'd be delighted to have you back.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, thank you.
Well, first I want to say, this was seemed like a pretty dire situation back in late May and early June, and I think the community was obviously very upset about the original plans, and I think that where we are today truly is the best case scenario we could have possibly been in coming back from that point in time. And I think that there was a whole host of people here to thank. This was a true collaborative effort amongst the entire neighborhood and partners as well, with the elected officials. This is, and I can't forget Robert Travelini. It truly was. There are so many different points here where if things we didn't do things a certain way or things didn't move a certain direction, this might not have ended up with the result that we had today. And in particular, obviously, with the mayor's support, and in particular with the mayor's support, the BRA. Director Golden testifying at the hearing that Councilor LaMattina hosted in the City Council chamber. Him testifying and saying that we were not going to lift the LDA. It was really a turning point in this discussion and really moved us into the place we are today. I'm learning about Marquee Health myself. I went online. I looked up their information after Friday when we had these original conversations with partners. They seem to be a pretty reputable organization, do good work. They have some facilities in Massachusetts. They have some facilities in other places along the East Coast. But they seem someone that that we're going to be able to work with and within the neighborhood. And lastly, I just want to particularly thank the council. This is a council meeting. I want to thank the council because it was the council's having the won't say the guts, but you know, I think the right movement to have a hearing. And David, I want to thank you for coming to that. And I know that wasn't easy. And I know, I know that wasn't easy. But I think in the long run, it helped us get to where we are today. And so, you know, the council in particular, I want to thank you guys for hosting that meeting today, or you know, back in June, because we wouldn't have been able to get to where we are today if it wasn't for that initial meeting. You know, I'm thrilled. You know, you know, this is really a truly. I mean, poor Joe, he just started. Like,
Trial by fire.
He just started back in June, and this was his first North End meeting. But it truly was, you know, a collaborative effort among all of us in this neighborhood, and it shows the power we have when we all stick together and we all work together. You know, so let's remember that for future fights that we have to have, you know, and difficult issues that come up in this neighborhood. When we stick together, you know, we're pretty powerful, and I think this was a great example of that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Not to be repetitive, but I'm going to be exactly repetitive. Thank you very much to all who collaborated in this joint effort. It was truly amazing. I was elected on May 10th, sworn in on the 17th. I was here June 6th or 8th for this meeting, the first North End meeting. And about halfway through it, Aaron looked at me and goes, "Welcome to the North End." But I was really proud. I mean, I was proud of this organization for coming up, standing up for one another, standing up for their elderly residents and people who are most vulnerable in the community. I want to thank the steering committee with Marie and Phil, Franny, and I shouldn't be naming off names, but I'm gonna. Pam, Victor, Chair Alyssa, thank you so much. I don't know if I missed anybody. I think I did all right. You guys were great coming to us, letting us know what was going on. And I also want to thank Spalding. At that meeting, I was seriously concerned for this gentleman's physical well-being. Taking it back from the sky. But he stood up, he listened. And as proud as I am of you all back then, I'm more proud tonight that you came back to the table and said thank you. When things are going wrong, I've learned early in politics, the rooms are packed and the voices are very loud. And tonight when it's going, you know, great, you know, the room's a little lighter and not everyone's pretty happy. So let your neighbors know. Spalding really did step up here tonight. And I see Rebecca over there, was very helpful and as a liaison with us elected officials and you know, let them know that, you know, this group could have gone other ways and this is really the best result. I can't imagine a better result. And at that meeting, I didn't think we would get this far, but with the collaborative effort of all of you, you know, I'm really proud to represent this community tonight. And I just want to thank you publicly. And I did hear a couple thank yous, which was good to hear, because you know, you all understand. So thank you again, and thanks to all. And I will be back. I was actually, we were talking to your president about speaking tonight, but it was obviously a bigger fish to fry. So I will be back to talk about some of my legislative policies going forward in the new year and answer any questions you may have. So I look forward to working with each and every one of you on the board in the coming year, and I look forward to talking to you all very soon. Thank you.
If you don't mind, I failed to mention Luigi Natali and Patrick Lyons from your offices who are involved with the steering committee as well. So we want to thank them for their efforts in this process. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, go ahead.
Sure, I just want to take this opportunity to thank you, David. Appreciate it. And thank you to the North End. Like Aaron said, when we work together, we get results. And this was a victory for the neighborhood. So I want to thank everybody involved. And I am also proud to be your city councilor. This is a great neighborhood, and everyone that lives here should be proud of the North End. So thank you all. And Spalding, Mr. President, thank you for getting involved. It's a pleasure to do this.
Does anyone else have any? Yep, sure. Sorry.
So I just want to say, I want to thank you on behalf of the committee, the steering committee. We all laugh now, but this is a serious situation. And I was up there yesterday, and I told a lot of patients who hadn't known. I was just curious, are you going to inform them? I mean, there's some people who don't have anyone, and this woman was in tears, very excited and saying, "God bless, thank you very much." And I don't know when
We
they're.
did an original statement, but, you know, getting to everybody,
Yeah.
we know that it's gonna take a little time, but yeah, we're gonna talk to them first.
Okay, and I know you said you're gonna, like carry the lease basically, till maybe the end of the year. When that switches over, are the staff, are they employed by you, are they obligated to go to Brighton, or do they have an option, are you at that point yet, they can?
No, like I said, they're gonna be given a choice. We're within, what do we say, more than 60 days?
Third, yeah, will facilitate job care.
Within 60 days of the time we close, which should be maybe 30 to 40 days from now, we're committed to having job fairs for everybody who works currently in the facility to meet with the new owners, to understand what their pay and benefits would be and what their positions would be, and make a decision whether they want to stay with Marquis and stay in the North End, or whether they want to come to Brighton.
Okay. And is there any chance that Marquis wouldn't get the license, get granted for some reason, or?
You know, because they already have places in Massachusetts and have been through the process before, and had the process that they use with the Department of Public Health is called suitability, meaning they want to make sure that the operators are people that haven't done anything wrong. And so they've been through suitability many times now, and there's been nothing that's happened that we're aware of that would suggest that they wouldn't get their license.
Again, thank you very much. This is, like you guys said, it's a big win for us, and it's about time we get something back.
I just want to say, I know we thanked everybody so many times, but I have to say on behalf of the 1,000 signatures that signed those petitions earlier on, I want to say for our neighbors in the community here in the North End, thank you for coming here tonight under much friendlier circumstances. As I said earlier, Rebecca Kaiser is here also, who's Chief of Staff to Partners, and I said earlier, she's a much prettier face and a more welcoming representation for Partners. She's lovely. I want to thank you, and as our state rep has said in his comments, we had to put bitterness behind on what the issues were and move forward to finding a satisfactory conclusion. I applaud Partners for coming together with that. I applaud the mayor. Aaron, you did a terrific job as our state representative. Very proud of you as I saw you grow up in the North End. Joe McCurry, terrific. Sal, if it wasn't for Sal calling, as we said earlier, that BRA hearing where everyone learned exactly what the LDA included and affirmed what was the contents of that agreement. That was a turning point for our neighborhood. The community stood strong. I applaud you, Sal, for doing that very, very much. And I want to thank, really, an agency, as you said earlier, that never gets thanked. The BRA, new name now, but the BRA and Brian Golden, excellent in affirming the contents of the LDA. But thank you, Rebecca, thank you all for coming to the aid of all of us, who you all represent, and we are so proud for the representation from the mayor on down, who represents this neighborhood in the city of Boston. Thank you.
Anyone in the picture?
A statement. We've made a big leap forward, but there's a little something at the end, which is in 5 years, the urban renewal plan expires. When the urban renewal plan expires, the LDA restrictions expire. Will we see condominiums there when there are no more restrictions requiring that a nursing home be present? I hope not.
Can I answer that?
Absolutely.
Then we'll just have to expand the urban renewal for another 5 years.
Well, another way to do it,
All right.
since
If you look at 20, I will be ready then.
I'll be glad to do it.
no,
I'll be glad to do it.
may I suggest another way to do it, which is to have Marquis agree to record a restriction themselves that will extend for a period of time. Whether or not the urban renewal plan should be extended is another issue that involves other concerns, and I don't think they need to be planned.
David, can I just ask one question? $4 million, Marquis has...
That's what, that we understand their estimate of what they're planning to spend.
Anyone else from the audience?
They have to file a determination of need for that, so there'll be an exact amount of, on public record soon.
My next question,
When they file with the
will they itemize what's gonna be done to the facility?
Yeah, I have to.
Otherwise,
Be part of the deed, just as you did at the castle.
All right, well, thank you again, thank you to everyone for coming.